Hello and welcome to the Churros Tacticas podcast. We are, I kid you not, you can't make this up. A place with a CYT logo. No, that's there we go. CYT, as you can see on the screen. And we did not plan this. I mean, Diego picked the spot.
Yes,
but
completely coincidental. Yeah. Sat down. We're here in Chamberí, one of the more classic neighborhoods, typical castizo neighborhood of Madrid, and a famous plaza. And we're here at Cañas y Tapas, or in other words, CYT. It's meant to be, my friend.
It's meant to be. I couldn't believe it. Great choice. This is historic or kind of historic. We've recorded a podcast together before. This is the second one we've ever done. I kind of do feel like... In person, right. After a game like last night, probably it's best to do it in person rather than virtually.
It's always best to do it in person.
It's always, yes, always. That was probably the most appropriate joke we've had today so far.
I wasn't even going there. This guy.
Because we have to kind of act civil, like we're in public. So like we can't just be shouting about referees and
not yet
and anything.
Hold on, let me get a few more of these.
We got churros coming too.
Yes.
Yeah, we got churros coming. All right, man. Listen, you and I have sat here for a good chunk of time. I've been itching to talk about the game. We've kind of intentionally stayed away from the game so that we could save it for the podcast. We didn't want to ruin, having the same conversation a second time, but it doesn't have the same feeling because we've already talked about it. I thought about you a lot last night because I had a conversation with you on the phone before the game started, and I was walking to the stadium at that point, and you were like, "Man, I missed it here. I'm in Madrid. It's so lovely." And I was like, I haven't heard from him. I was like, I wonder if he still feels good. What was your experience watching the game last night? You watched it in a bar in Madrid.
Yeah.
There were culés there. So tell me about your experience.
Yes. So, yes, an emotional experience being back. I have to say I spent 4 lovely years here and got nothing but love for the city and most of the people in Madrid. To quote Santiago Bernabeu, but flipping it, the only problem I have with Madrid are the Madridistas. So other than that, it was fantastic. The bar, as I said, Kiyan, surprisingly was pretty much 50-50. Half culés and half merengues, and all peace and love. We recorded some content there that will be coming out later as well on D-Spot with Miguel Pereira, the author of Pasión and other football books, and the host of the Barça Talk podcast, Gabriel. And it was, other than the game itself, a very nice experience. Salud.
Cheers. Espresso and beer.
They go together like wine and cheese, folks. And, it was just really good to be back. Now, having said that, the game was awful. From a culé perspective, congrats to all the Madridistas. I did not enjoy that whatsoever. And we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of it. Yes. But from the start, I have to say, this was our game to lose. After 5 consecutive wins, it was... 4? I thought we agreed on 5.
No, that friendly does not count.
Oh, okay. All right, fine. After 4 wins, it was... it was the time that kind of we had to revert back to the mean, and Madrid came in guns blazing. We touched upon the fact that the Lamine Yamal factor probably helped, and by that we mean his pre-game comments, because you should speak on this because you said the atmosphere in the stadium was amazing, some of the best you've ever experienced.
A+ atmosphere from start to finish, and I'm sure the Lamine Yamal comments contributed to that. I'm ultimately thankful for Lamine Yamal, and I actually wonder if this is a lesson for him.
Yeah.
Because I personally just don't like talking before, because I think it does more harm than good for yourself, because it puts pressure on yourself now to come out and now, I was gonna say I said this to somebody before the podcast. Before the game. That like, hey man, there is a scenario where Barca win and he scores the game winner, and all of a sudden like we got to be like, okay, what are you gonna do? He backed it up, but it puts a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah.
I remember, I always think back to a moment, and I don't remember what year it was, but I think it was before the Mourinho era. This was like around Ronaldinho, Barca era, where Sergio Ramos came out before a game and a Clásico and said, we're going to win 3-0. And I hated it. And we lost that Clásico. And it's like, it doesn't do you any good. If anything, it just motivates the other team.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful for it ultimately, because I saw some, like, Real Madrid were like, basically had a fuck you to them last night.
It was exactly that. I was surprised, actually, in all honesty, to see, especially the post-game antics, the famous tangada, that scuffle that took place, to see how personal Madrid players took it, and took it directly towards Lamine Yamal.
Yeah.
Mainly from the more veteran players. We saw Lamine Yamal go up to Carvajal and offer his hand, and Carvajal not accepting it, and then started doing these gestures. You talk too much. That was the spark that ignited that whole little feud against scuffle. To then see Courtois also be very physical, get in the mix of it, and Vini, of course, had to put the cream onto the cherry on top. Kind of lost the plot. We're gonna wait the Vini topic, okay. But what I want to say about Lamine Yamal, he's talked last year before several games and walked the walk when he talked the talk. He didn't do that last night. Was very far from it. Was in very poor form. His passing was off. His whole demeanor was off. Turns out that journalists are filtering now that in fact he is still injured from his
Just gracias.
Vale,
Guys,
gracias.
check it out. Come on. We got churros. This was my dream from the beginning.
This is your dream. It's now come to fruition.
Guys,
CyT.
patreon.com/churrositacticas. If you want to fund Diego and I living in the same city, recording with a plate of churros in the cafe outside in Spain, every podcast. Sorry. Continue.
Your support is needed for sure.
We're not even going to eat it. We use your patron money to order it for a prop.
I don't know about you. I'm going to eat these motherfuckers for sure. So Lamine is still injured or still not fully recovered.
Yeah.
That is not a huge surprise. What I want to say, the point I want to get at is, if that is the case, and I'll take their words for it because these are journalists that are far better informed than myself, why would you put yourself in a situation where even if it was... So he said these comments obviously about Madrid roba, Madrid steals in a context of the Kings League. He was there with Ibai. They are two club owners of teams in the Kings League, and it was trash talk, right? I don't know if you saw Ibai come out and sort of did some mea culpa. He said, I feel like I lured Lamine into this and I should have known better. Did you see those comments of his?
No.
Because he said he instigated that, and he was like, it was friendly banter, trash talk that then obviously the media and the Madrid dressing room took very personally, and it became so grave, so big that the police even had to intervene. And he was like, I feel terrible about that. That all aside, trash talk or not, he said what he said. He should have known the ramifications. And what I want to say is, if he was injured or semi-injured, not fully recovered during all this time, why put yourself in such a predicament, such a situation where you know you're not going to be able to give your 100% in a game where Madridista or Real Madrid, the dressing room, and the Madridistas in the stadium are like licking their chops to finally get one over you?
Yeah. I actually, this might be a hot take for a Real Madrid fan to have, but I actually think the Lamine's comments were overblown in the sense that, when I saw where he said it, that it's with a YouTuber, that Kings League does have a lot of banter, whether it's like PK and Casillas or Marcelo or whoever. It's kind of like me and you.
Yes.
shooting the shit. But
it's not me and you. It's
it's people who matter.
Right, exactly.
So, but I'm happy that it was interpreted as hostile because it lit a spark. And I also think, because I saw a lot of Kool-Aids making fun of Real Madrid celebrations last night, like, oh, they're pretending they won a Champions League final.
I got something to say about that.
All right, so I would much rather them be on that side of the over-celebration than the other side, which is lethargic and not coming out aggressive. I'll just put it there. And I also think the context of that, from what I understood, again, like at the stadium, we had no idea what was going on because the final whistle gets blown, and everyone's kind of getting out of their seat, and then all of a sudden you just look down and there's shit happening. You don't have replays, you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Later,
the Spanish are notorious for getting out of the stadium as quick as possible.
Right. Yeah.
Over, let's go home.
So, but from what I understood, looking at videos later and reading, was that, and I didn't know Lamine offered to extend his hand to Carvajal.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that was the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was Carvajal who went over and told Lamine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then, so that happens, and then Lamine, they get separated, and then I think Lamine is still talking. Courtois comes over, Vinicius comes over like a madman. And then Xabi Alonso comes over and takes the Real Madrid team and says, guys, go there and celebrate. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then, so I think that's what sparked, like, okay, the dancing and jumping.
Right.
So I was okay with it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you wanted to say something about the celebration.
No, because I saw your tweet where you're like, oh, Barça lost their Champions League final, and as I'm reading that, I'm seeing the Madrid players like celebrating like never before Clásico. I was like, yo.
You know what that was? That last, I put that at the end, the last sentence of the tweet was that it was just a little... That's all it was. It was a little... I knew it was going to piss people off. Kool-Aids, anyway.
And it stopped me. I was like, should I now retweet and then put that image? I was like, I lost. I don't want to have any,
Listen, ultimately, I think this is the case. We both pretend like we don't care about this game. We do.
Of course.
Both sides.
Of course.
And then when we lose, our only way to cope is to call them like, oh, you care so much. And then it's going to be a cycle. It's going to be a vicious cycle.
Yeah. Man, I was just showing Kiyan as well the pregame, what would you call it, festivities or events, and it was impressive, man. I mean, I gotta say, the Bernabeu really came out last night. Some of you, I think, from your tweets, I interpret that you thought I was actually there. I wasn't, but did catch a glimpse of what was going on, and yeah, it was like, this was the time. Like, this was the moment where Madrid was going to finally have one over us. And sure, we can talk about Barça being a more weakened side. I think that's a given. It's Rafinha's not there, Lewandowski's not there, Ferran Torres, who I was very surprised started as opposed to Marcus Rashford at number 9, was back after a month.
What was the alternative if Ferran didn't start?
Rashford.
I know, but who would go on the left?
Fermin.
Then
that's what I thought.
Fermin's spot.
Casadón.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
But that clearly obviously didn't happen. In fact, Casadón didn't come in until much later. And look, the only thing I will say, this is a loss, and it's a concerning one at that, because I'm wondering how is Barça going to salvage this season given how poorly we're performing so far. Having said that, and by that I also mean taking last season as a reference where we were exceeding expectations as the alcachofas, que bueno, gracias. Muchas gracias.
No.
Oh, they come with jamón on top.
Perfect.
See, I ordered it. I thought I was being sensitive to...
No, that's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this season, how are we going to match or superar? ¿Cómo se dice superar?
Improve?
Yeah, improve upon what we achieved last season. And I just don't see that happening at this stage. In fact, we're very far from it. We're without Rafinha, who was with Pedri and Lamine, the key player, if not the number one key player. Lewandowski, there's so much under the scene that I think we're not aware of, given that this is a World Cup season. He forced himself to stay on and picked up that injury with Poland that has caused, it seems, quite the turmoil within the locker room, like internal debate and anger, frustration, let's say, between the technical staff and the player. And I can go down the list and continue to name other things. And Lamine Yamal is one of them, right? Here's a very young player, a star player that is showing, at this point in time, far too many symptoms of, calm down, my friend. Like, calm down, son. You're getting now too ahead of yourself. I hold my heart that he will not become a washed-up player too soon, but his trajectory, if you will, is showing us that he's leaning more towards the Neymar than the Messi or a Cristiano Ronaldo. And why do I say that? It's not just from the poor performance we see on the pitch, but all I hear about Lamine Yamal is what we see off of it, right? It's about the girls, it's the holidays, and it's the trash talking, and I'm like, where's this going at this point? That's what is very concerning. Now, the silver lining, and I pass you the mic, is that we only lost 2-1. This was a chance for Madrid to, it could have been in the first half. I thought it was an avalanche of chances. Obviously, the offside goals by the sliver of the toenail of Mbappe kind of, saved that, and the questionable penalty that was ruled off as well. I think that we had some questionable calls go against us as well. But this was a chance in the end where you guys could have demolished and demoralized us. And in the end, look, we walk away with a 2-1 loss at the Bernabeu, which can happen while we're at our weakest.
It felt like a traditional Real Madrid Clásico win, right, in the sense that we could have scored more but didn't. And Madridistas, they're like, man, can we give them 4? Can we give them 5? It's cool that we win, but we want like the
demoralized.
Yeah, and actually when Fermin scored in the first half, I was like, come on, man.
I thought about you.
I was like, after all that, it's 1-1, and that's what I was worried about. I also, at halftime, when we were up 2-1, my biggest concern, and it kind of happened, was that we're not going to have enough energy to sustain pressing. It's going to be a different game. Barca's going to have more of the ball. And was 2-1 a big enough lead to take into that situation? And I think that's kind of what happened. Like, in the second half, we were more defensive. We stopped pressing. We gave Barca the ball. And that's generally okay, but our transition attacks weren't that good in the second half. Mm-hmm. I will say, I thought that first half was like the first time all season in a real significant way where I was like, okay, this is what Xabi ball is building up to. Because the press looked great and Barca looked really uncomfortable. Every time Barca had the ball deep, like with Szczesny and Kubarsi, Koundé, I was like, yeah, I think they're uncomfortable. Like, they were giving it away. Yeah. And I was like, we never saw that with Ancelotti in Clásicos, that aggressive. Mm-hmm. And it was nice to see, because I think it's the correct approach to do that to Barca. It may not be the best approach to do that against like Pep's Barca of 2009, because they'll probably play through it. But given that, I always reference that Rayo Vallecano game, like they did it. Sevilla, and I was like, if they can do it, PSG obviously is great, but I was like, this is correct. Like, make them uncomfortable, don't make them comfortable. And in the second half, as much as I didn't love Real Madrid's performance on the ball, like their transition attacks basically died, and the couple we did have, we missed. Like Rodrigo had one at the end. I think Brahim almost had one. But our defense was good. Mm-hmm. Militao was fantastic.
Militao was great.
Carreras,
he's back at his best.
Unbelievable. To me, it's one of the most underrated stories to me, like a player, 2 ACL injuries coming back. It's just a good story to be playing that well. We won the wing-back duels, Carreras versus Lamine, and Fede versus Rashford. Yeah. And for all of the ball that Barca had, I felt pretty comfortable when they had it. Yeah. I was like, they have control, but they're not getting into dangerous zones. No. They did a couple times.
Passive.
Yeah, but it wasn't Like there was one, I think, towards the end when Araujo had gotten the box.
Right, he thought he was a number 9.
Araujo was a disaster. It's like he had a couple of moments where it's like, whoa, what was that? But I guess I don't know, give him the benefit of the doubt because he scored that goal against whoever.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was against.
Last game, what was it?
Wasn't there a situation where you needed a number 9 in the box? Game winner at the end.
No, it was last week, coño.
Who was that against? Girona?
Girona.
Yeah. So I don't know. I felt good about it overall that like there was so much criticism of Xabi Alonso and Real Madrid not winning a big game.
Yeah.
We finally did it, and I thought it was a good step in the right direction. I thought it was good to see Vini in that form, and not only Vini but Bellingham too.
Yeah.
Because we hadn't seen that.
Bellingham looked on point.
I feel like since 2024.
Yeah.
When we won the Champions League, we hadn't seen all these guys play well together.
Yeah.
To that level. And
can I ask you this, though?
Yeah.
How do you feel about the 2-1 win, knowing that Madrid, you guys had, as far as I'm concerned, everyone fully available, fit, again, as far as I'm concerned, and walking away not just with the 2-1 win, which maybe seems too little for what Madrid could have offered, but also Barça could have leveled the score in the end. Like, do you feel like against the Barça with Rafinha, Lewandowski, everyone fit as well, then it's like it becomes a little more lopsided again, less... You understand my point?
I do, but I would say like 2-1 or 5-1, 3 points is 3 points.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter ultimately, I think, at the end of the season, unless it comes to some freak goal differential to win the league or whatever. But listen, I think I'm happy enough with the performance that even if I knew that Rafinha and Lewandowski were there, I think we had control of the game. I also have seen Militao like 2 years ago lock up Lewandowski pretty comfortably. I think Rafinha is a great player, obviously. Sure, I mean...
I guess my point is, do you feel that you still need to have ways to improve
Yeah, of
to
course.
get to your best?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah, there's no question. I mean, we have at least one more Clásico left, possibly more. And there's a lot of football left.
Yeah.
I said it like before we started this stretch, this difficult schedule. I was like, we could win all these games and not win a trophy at the end of the season, or we could lose and win trophies at the end of the season. It's still too early to tell. We just look at the signs, and I think it was encouraging last night because we saw different styles of football. We saw the aggressive press and the chances that came out of that, and we were hoping for a 3-1 maybe, 4-1. Mbappe missing the penalty.
What was your feeling when Mbappe missed the penalty?
I was pretty surprised that he missed it.
Man, Szczesny was our best player yesterday.
He was good. I mean, Mbappe is so reliable too in that situation that I was just surprised.
Is it true? I read somewhere it was 200 non-missed penalties, or was that an exaggeration? I heard a journalist mention this.
Well, obviously it can't be in a row because he missed 2 last year.
Oh, okay, but ya está. It sounded absurd. I'm like, surely not.
I don't know what stat you were looking
200
at.
penalties. What was I even thinking? Who's even
Has anyone scored 200 penalties?
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Has he scored 200 penalties?
I think so.
Messi scored 200 penalties in the World Cup. I was just like... what was I going to say?
What was your feeling when he missed?
I was just surprised because I was...
Were you like, oh, this could be a turning point?
I was filming it to post the goal, and then he missed. I was like, oh, what am I going to do with this video now? It's like... so I was surprised. And those are the moments you're like, man, if this game ends up 2-2, you look at moments like that. Like, I haven't seen a replay. Was it a penalty? Someone said ball don't lie. And I actually didn't see a replay, but...
Honestly, I don't know what was a penalty yesterday and what wasn't at this point. I thought that it was Lamine, right, who put in the, let's say, tackle interception.
The one in the first half?
In the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a penalty. They're going to call that a penalty. We've seen that called. This is the Eddie Garcia. So for me, the Mbappe penalty is one of those weak-ass penalty calls that you hate to see get called because it bounced, it literally ricocheted off of like 2-3 other body parts before it finally hits.
So it was a handball?
It was a handball.
I kid you not, I still haven't seen it. I don't know.
So it touches Eddie. It then bounces off of I don't know, who was it? Mbappe, who breaks into the box?
I don't know.
Like hits him in the knee, and then it hits Eddie Garcia's hand.
Okay.
And I'm like, dude, you don't want to see those. Like, I don't like to see those get called, but I guess that's what's being called. Like, again, if the criteria remains consistent, then we know now, okay, that's a handball offense.
Right. And what about the first half one?
Yeah.
Lamine and Vini.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a penalty. I was very surprised that it wasn't called.
I can understand, and that one I kind of understand why it wasn't called.
Yeah?
Most people I said, like, it was a penalty. He went to shoot it and kicked Lamine Yamal's foot.
Well, we've seen those getting called.
I know. I'm just saying.
I don't like it. Again,
I'm just saying I see both sides of that one. The Mbappe offside goal, I was like, man, are we sure about these lines?
That was crazy.
I guess Arda did ultimately touch it
No, right.
because they were talking like, was it off of the Barca player or not? The goal itself was amazing.
My God. My God.
I gotta say, and as far as narratives go for me, Bellingham spinning around Pedri and then playing the through ball was a moment of genius. Moment of genius.
I knew you were going to lap that up.
Yeah.
You should. Lap it up.
Also, this is one for the Carreras versus Balde debate. Was Balde playing last night? Was he?
A lot of players weren't playing last night. Koundé wasn't playing. Cubarsí wasn't playing. It was Ferran Torres, Lamine Yamal. I mean, we didn't see the big players that had to step up, with the exception of Fermin and Szczesny, our third goalkeeper. And, you know, I don't even necessarily want to call him a role player. I think he should be in the starting 11 always, but Fermin Lopez.
Is it time to talk about Vini?
Let's talk some Vini.
Okay.
Where do you stand with Vini? Can I just say this to spice it up?
Yeah.
For me, right now in football, the most repugnant, vulgar, and despicable person, or player, I should say. Let me not make it personal. But I just, and after what I saw yesterday, it was just like that cemented it for me. And if I'm a Madridista, which I've read, several opinions and everything, I get the outrage. And I was sharing you the headline earlier from us, that the reports now are that Vini is through his camp, and you had something to say about that as well, filtering that he wants to leave. I couldn't for my life understand why you would put your team as well in a position like that in the 70th-something minute. Perfectly acceptable change. You got Rodrigo, a world-class player, coming in. Why would you put your team in a position where you could, leak some poison that could cause some doubt and allow Barça to remontar, to walk away with a point because of your antics? You got to be a team player.
Repugnant is a strong word. I think, oh man, where do I start on this? I was talking to someone that I trust before the game, and they were saying that Vini and Xabi Alonso just don't really get along.
We don't see eye to eye.
Don't see eye to eye. Xabi doesn't like a lot of the stuff that Vini does, and Vini doesn't like kind of Xabi Alonso's authoritative approach, which is like.
Is he authoritarian? He seems
well,
very
that's the thing. That's the thing. He doesn't come across as that kind of coach, but he does it in, I think, in a non-hostile way, in the sense that if he thinks a decision needs to be made, he makes a decision, and a star player is not going to be happy with that necessarily. And Xabi doesn't care whether a star player is happy or not. He's going to make the decision. So he hasn't been shy at all about either benching Vinicius or taking him off. And he's done that with Mbappe a couple times too, if he feels like the game needs a change. So in Xabi, I mean, these are two completely different points of reference, right? From Xabi Alonso's point of view, he's making a tactical change. Vinny's been running all game. Rodrigo is going to be fresh. Rodrigo's a good defensive player. You're trying to close out the game. Lamine Yamal's on that side. He can still create danger. And I mean, this is part of the challenge of coaching Real Madrid, right? Like, it's not just the tactics. There's a lot of man management involved, and that's why Carlos succeeded.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to deal with this. And he's winning. Like, Xabi's winning these games, except for the derby. He's winning, and he's been able to... And after the game, he's very diplomatic. He said, that the reaction, we're not going to talk about that. It was not a big deal. There's emotion.
No, he
Vinny
said
was
we're
very
gonna
good.
Talk.
Yeah.
He said we'll talk in person.
But he won't say that stuff publicly, I guess.
As he should.
Yeah. And then before the last game Real Madrid played was against Getafe, I think. Was it Getafe where he came off the bench, Vinny? You don't know this? I should know this. But anyways, I think it was Getafe where he said we had spoken to Vinny before the game and told him like you can make a big impact off the bench, which he did. Okay. Anyways,
the game where he was like, I don't know if that was Getafe. I think, I know now the one you're talking about.
It was like 2 games ago.
Yeah.
Anyways, so back to the game itself and Vinny. I do think there is something real behind the scenes between Xabi and Vinny. I don't think it's fabricated from what I understand. And I can only tell you that... Go ahead.
No, sorry. We should, maybe just for context, apparently the cameras from DAZN caught Vinny saying, "Me voy del equipo." He literally, as he was being substituted off, he said, "That's it, I'm going to leave the team." First he double-checked with Xabi. He said, "Mister, yo." He's like, me, always me. That's it, yo me voy del equipo. I'm leaving the team. And then he goes in the tunnel, sorry.
And he goes in the tunnel. I mean, I didn't see that, but given the fact that he runs to the tunnel really angry, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. Within the context of that game last night, I thought he played really well.
Yeah, he did.
And I think whether or not Xabi Alonso made the right decision to take him off is a totally different point. It's at least a reasonable substitution to make, even if you don't agree with it. To react like that was really disappointing to me. As I was mentioning before we started recording, the stadium stands up to applaud him because they enjoyed his performance. And then he reacts like that and everyone's like, "Oh, this is awkward. Like, do we applaud? What do we do now?" And then they showed on the big screen in the Bernabeu that he ran to the tunnel. They showed it, and everyone was just like, "Oh,
wow."
And then I felt like it just sucked the energy out of the stadium.
You see, that could have been a turning point. You understand?
And it could have been. And I think if you're a teammate, you would have felt demoralized a little bit. Like, come on, man, we're trying to close this out. We need good energy.
Yeah.
He eventually comes back.
Yeah.
He supports the team. I don't know if someone talked to him or he's like, okay, I need to cool down. I'm back. I don't. In theory, I have no issue with people being upset when they're subbed off.
No,
that's fine. That's healthy.
Exactly.
Yeah. But this was crossing the line for me. And then he comes back, and then by the end of it, he's chasing after Lamine Yamal in his sandals. So, I gotta tell you, Diego, this has been, for me, covering this team this season more than any other season ever covering this team. I've never seen so much divide in the Real Madrid fan base.
About Vinny?
About everything. There are so many Real Madrid fans actively rooting against the team. I'm not kidding.
You said that. I find that odd.
Vinicius fans will root against the team if it means Vinicius is going to be benched or whatever.
Right.
Mbappe fans will root against the team if Mbappe is not getting service in the box or whatever, and they win despite him, if he's not scoring. I'm not kidding you, there are Ancelotti fans who are actively rooting against Xabi Alonso just to say, "I told you so. I told you this was the wrong decision."
That's interesting.
There are Arda fans. Yeah. There are Bellingham fans.
Arda, what a player, by the way.
There are a lot of people who are stuck in this narrative that Arda Güler can't play well in big games, and he made the mistake for the Fermin goal. He gave the ball away.
Yes.
But I thought that was unfortunate. I'm not going to defend that mistake. He made a mistake. But I thought outside of that, he was quite good.
Very good.
Yeah, he was very good.
Yeah.
So I just to me, it's like, man, can we root for the team? Can we root for the team?
Root for the team.
Root for the team and just just
You want unity.
Yeah.
You want unity because now, especially when we are slowly but surely approaching the second half of the season, crunch time, the last thing you need is divide. Especially, fan base is one thing. Twitter, etc. You can just blank that, ignore that.
Yeah.
But within the dressing room, I want to know from you, Vinny, on your team or off your team, with the way he is now, will you be relieved if you see him pack his bags at the end of the summer, or will you say, that's too soon? We could have gotten more out of him.
No, I want him to stay.
You want him to
He's a great player.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sure, he's a great player, but his character, clearly there's something off.
Look, there's a lot of emotion, I think. I mean, he was obviously very emotional last night.
Yeah, but my question is, do you want somebody with that, or unable to handle his emotion, control his emotions in your locker room? That's, for me, is like a ticking time bomb.
If it brings you titles, yes. If it doesn't, then no.
Right.
Like, I would...
So you'll judge at the end of the season.
I guess, but I also will like, okay, this is maybe a weird example to bring up, but there were actually a lot of Real Madrid fans who didn't like the way Ronaldo carried himself, okay? And I'm like, this is, these little like emotional spurts that Ronaldo had sometimes, or coming and saying after the game, like if everyone was on my level, we would have won. That comes with the territory. Like, that brings you the titles at the end of the season, so you got to be okay with that stuff. But I see it the same way with Vinicius. Vinicius, the way he's playing now, and it helps the team, and he was great last night. Yeah, I will deal with the side tantrums. But if he's not playing well, then no, it doesn't. It's an extra baggage. Ultimately, I think I care most about the team more than any player. So if we're in a situation where Vinicius is still just not happy with Xabi, but the team is succeeding, then at that time you have to make an uncomfortable decision. And if Xabi Alonso is the coach, he should have the authority to do what he wants.
I just feel like it's an unsustainable situation. You can maybe manage it for a couple of months. I just wonder the long-term effect of having somebody like that. And we knew that, right? I mean, it was the big debate when Mbappé came. Is Vinny going to able to share his protagonism, his throne, if you will, with an Mbappé who is the better or more informed player right now? And I will also say right now, Mbappé, the best player in the world. That goal was just a thing of beauty. Goal? Yeah, the thing of beauty, man. My God. Just the danger. Anyway, that's another topic. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, in a company, in an organization, in a family, you just got to deal with it because you're a family. But if I'm Florentino Perez, if I'm Xavi, I'm thinking, man, we don't need this.
I did not like his reaction last night.
Were there boos?
I didn't notice anything. More like confusion. Like, yo, why are you doing this? Mm-hmm. Like, dude, we're having a good night here.
Yeah. We're celebrating.
Like, read the room, man. Like,
totally,
everyone's happy right now.
Totally.
I guess it would be ultimately down to, can Xabi and Vinny figure it out?
Yeah.
And can Vinny accept what's happening? I'll keep going back to saying it. Like, you started, what was it, minute 70 whatever?
Yeah, 70 something, yeah.
You've been running all game. We need fresh legs. We need to close it out. Like, what these damn
pigeon here,
man,
the churros.
I swear Canadian pigeons don't have this much shame.
This much balls.
So the thing is, like, these reports about him leaving. I mean, very opportunistic.
Sure.
Because after what happened last night, easy headlines to write.
But you yourself admitted.
I didn't say anything about him leaving.
All right.
But I said that there are real divide between him and Xabi.
Yeah.
And I don't see an easy out. You don't just sell a player like Vinicius. And you're certainly not doing it before the end of the season.
No, for sure.
So I don't know how it ends. This is going to come back, this conversation. It was there at the beginning of the season, and then it kind of cooled down, and we're like, okay, everything's fine. And then last night, I mean, unnecessary.
So I was hearing on the radio, again, this is in a post-match, the Madridista or Madrid-based journalists talking about potential financial fines. Is like
From
what
the club?
Yeah, what is the solution? Yeah, besides the talk, which Xavi in the press conference said, I'm going to have a talk with him, but
financially for being angry at a substitution.
Yeah, I don't know if that's ever happened, but I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that a player gets a fine for.
It's not going to be if you want to send a message to Vinicius, it's not going to be financial stuff. It's going to be benching him.
Right.
Would be the message.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd love to be a fly on the wall on the conversation that Vinicius and Xabi Alonso are going to have if they haven't had it by now. I'd love to be a fly on the wall, man. Wouldn't you? I'd just.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you're Xavi, I think your next game is against Elche. Oh no, Valencia. Barça's Elche.
Then Liverpool.
Are you benching him? You gotta no. Is he in a position now where he's forced to send a message just also for the harmony? Let's say maybe not harmony, but to show his authority over the dressing room to say, look, man, I that's just unacceptable. You're back on the bench.
If I had to make a prediction, he probably gets benched against Valencia and then starts against Liverpool.
Right.
And I think he would be benched next game regardless of who the opponent was, even if it was like a big game. I don't see how Xabi can reward that behavior. Nor should he. Because if he does, then it sends the wrong message to the squad.
Correct.
I also think that no Madridista should be okay with how Vini reacted in that moment. I don't think you can. I think if you're okay with it and you defend him in that situation, like, oh, well, it's Xabi's fault because he made a wrong sub, he's an idiot for subbing off Vinicius when he's playing that well, then I think you're obviously just in a very weird place where you're putting the club player above the club and you're putting a halo on his head, thinking that he can do no wrong because he's your favorite player, where in reality, like, we need everyone to buy into a system for the good of the team. And again, it's not like Xabi Alonso dragged him off in minute 20 after Vini scored a hat-trick. No, it's a Clàsico you're trying to close out. You're winning. You got like 20 minutes left. You have, as you said, a great player in Rodrigo who is fresh and can work hard on the wing to close it out. And like, he's also good in transition too.
Yeah.
He can attack.
Yeah.
So it's a reasonable situation. And again, I actually would hear you out and say you could be right that if you said that Xabi Alonso did make the wrong decision. Maybe. But again, that's not the point. That's not the point.
Yeah. It's 3 points. You said just 3 points. Xavi said that it's more than 3 points. I think so. These Clàsico games, it gives you the moral boost. It gives you the bragging rights. I think, the momentum clearly is with Real Madrid right now. And quite frankly, I know it's just October, end of October, November, but with a 5-point gap and seeing the form of Real Madrid, the form of Barça, I'm going to say it right now. LaLiga is a write-off for me.
No.
It's Madrid's for the taking, and I don't see... Madrid is the better team. Right now, Madrid is the better team, and we're light years ahead, or light years behind, rather, of where we should be in order to compete for a Liga title. Congratulations.
Well, no, I'm not going to co-sign on that, but I think Real Madrid look way better than they did last year. I think Barca don't look as strong as they were last year. That's huge in itself. Last year, when you look at it too, despite all that, we were only 4 points short of the league. But I'm actually more curious to see how Barca handle the mental blow of this. More than the way Real Madrid carry the momentum, actually. I'm actually very curious to see how Barca respond to this. When is Rafinha back? It's still not for a while, right?
Not for a while.
And Gavi is still...
Oh, Gavi
is weeks away?
No, Gavi is like next year. The one who looks like will be returning somewhat soon is Joan Garcia. That's in November. But Lewandowski is incognito right now. Rafinha is as well. The reports say, or the rumors say, that they'll come before the end of the year, but Gavi, not yet. No.
Wasn't there a situation last year where Barca dropped like 7 games in a row? They dropped points. So we gotta like use that as a lesson, because I remember at that time we were like, oh, Barca lost the league. It's only 5 points.
Yeah.
You got next Clásico, that's 3 points off. So you only have 2 points now. Real Madrid will definitely drop points.
You think so? See, I don't see Madrid dropping points.
I will say this, without trying to jinx it or anything. We are doing much better in the games we're supposed to win. Last year we were not doing that.
Mbappe is his best ever form since putting on a Madrid shirt.
Yeah.
I just don't see it happening. That's why I'm being very realistic. I'm not trying to jinx anything, but you look at this Barca side and you compare it to last season, we had our shit figured out. There's so much work for Hansi Flick right now. I don't know if you probably didn't see it, but it was on the TV. They camera panned to Hansi Flick at some point, and they showed him, and Hansi Flick was like this, like sitting there.
Yeah, they showed it in the stadium, actually.
Yeah. I mean, the man's concerned. You know, there's gaping holes right now, not just in the defense, but all around, I would say, with players that are, you know, far from being their best. And that was not the case last season. There's so much work to be done. And again, my big wonder, I guess my big question is, why do we look so fatigued, so tired? Not to sound like a broken record, but we didn't play the Club World Cup, didn't have a demanding preseason, and we just don't look the part right now.
Yeah, I would say depth would have a little bit to do with that.
Yeah.
The injuries, and then so your remaining players are not getting a chance to rest. I mean, that would be part of it, for sure. I have a question for you.
Go on.
If you had a gun to your head right now, you had to get the answer right. Is Hansi Flick a Barca coach next season? At the beginning of next season?
Yes.
Okay, so no matter what, he has enough credit in the bank?
For sure. For me, yes. I'm not going to blame Hansi Flick here. I think I mentioned that, I don't know if it was on D-Spot or on Churros. For me, I absolve Hansi Flick and for any of the blame or let's say the poor form.
Okay.
Because you can go around the squad and just pick at the individual players and say, you're not the same as last season, you're not the same as last season, you've been absent, you've been banged up, you've been, you know, dealing with nagging injuries, you haven't been stepping up, and that is not Hansi Flick's fault.
Yeah.
For me.
No, I think you're right. It's more of like, not about maybe what should happen, but more about would he survive if Barca went trophyless this season?
Yeah.
Would the media and the club
Yeah.
feel pressured to change course?
Yeah, I don't think the club do. I think the media will definitely try to, you know, turn it up a dial and put out articles. We already saw it at the beginning of the season. It was like after 2 games in, you know, I told you on Churros as well, there was already talks of whether Hansi Flick, si se iba a comer los churros, no, los turrones, but whether he was going to make it to Christmas as a coach, to sit on the bench. And I'm like, dude, we're 2 games in, for crying out loud. Like, this is absurd to have this conversation. But, you know, this is, I see the media have a field day with this and turn it up a notch, try to crank up the pressure to its maximum. But, you know, I don't think that Deco and Laporta are jumping off of the Flick bandwagon, because who else do we take? Like, there's no other coach. Whenever Hansi Flick talks about Barca, not just the club, but the city of Barcelona, he's identified with the club. He loves it, and he's already proven his worth. It's, again, not the coach is not the issue here for me.
This is, there's so much that could change from now until the end of the season. We know that. But this is exactly what I was thinking about. Like, I agree with you, Flick is not to blame. But there are certain things where I think, like, this goes back to the PSG game. Why is the team, like, basically gifting PSG breakaways when you could just close it out with a draw? It's like, things like that where it's like, he's just so, like, we have to always play like this.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And at some point, teams are like, okay, so you're a great team, but we know exactly what you're going to do. So that helps us to prepare. Like, if you're never going to change, like, I think, okay, people were talking about before the game, like, Pedri was even saying it, like, okay, both teams like to press now. Like, Real Madrid are pressing teams, so we're going to both be aggressive. And I remember you were asking me, like, I think it was you, maybe a month ago, that, like, what would happen in the situation if Real Madrid are playing like this new style of football against Barca? Like, would you expect? Like, to me, it was like, yeah, but Barca are still, if I had to guess, will have more of the ball still, because if you look at the numbers, they're actually still more possession dominant than Real Madrid.
What was the possession stat yesterday?
I'm a little bit confused about it because I saw maybe two different numbers, but I think it was about 68 by the end of it.
Oh,
I think, but I could be wrong. Someone can have to
but it's
fact
like you
check
said. I
me.
mean, even actually, Vini was mocking Lamine, saying, "Oh, all your passes are to the bag."
That was great banter. If that's true what he said, that, because I heard that too.
Yeah.
But Vini was on another level, like, angry last night. Like, did you see that? You saw that play where he kicks it really hard?
Yes, against Lamine.
Yeah. And the whole stadium was like, yeah! It's like, it was a hell of a moment. I mean, yeah, I mean, like that, everyone was just filled with rage against that kid last night.
Completely. Let me say also, a little bit disproportionate here. Again, you're talking about, and not to bring up, this is the first time I'm saying an 18-year-old kid, so that excuse, it was, I think, had more validity when he was 17, but even at 18, he's gonna make mistakes and he's gonna talk out of line because, like Vini and Courtois, he's an outspoken person, individual on and off the field. So, but. Let's not, like, to see grown men, veterans, like, chase after a kid and rush up on him like that. I was like, yo, guys. I mean,
I listen.
You look cold. I'm gonna get.
No, I'm good. No, I'm actually good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know you're not gonna agree, but I was okay with it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a life lesson. Mm-hmm. Like, we can't keep saying.
I agree with that.
We can't keep saying, like, oh, he's only 18 forever.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
At some point, like.
But no, that's true. But at 18, you commit mistakes. Like,
sure.
At 18, you think, and especially him being the second best footballer in the world, ego, he already has that in him. Like, he's going to take things out of proportion, and he's going to think maybe too much of himself, and he's going to speak out of line. But that's kind of what you do at 18, and when you mature, like Cristiano did, for example, you start to dosificar, or kind of measure your words a little bit more, and you're not,
I don't.
That comes
okay,
with age.
I
with
get
maturity.
that. I get that. I think I get the 18 part, and as I've mentioned before, like, I don't want to sit here. I just want to make it clear that when I was 18, I was a dumbass, and I made a lot of mistakes. And if I was as good at football at Lamine Yamal, God knows where my head would be. So I get that. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, like, we have examples of 18-year-olds who are not like that. Mm-hmm. So, like, and I think a lot of it will have to do with his upbringing and, I mean,
his background.
I mean, his father encourages the parties and stuff like that, right? So, I can't, like, sit here and pin it all on him either. But I also,
No, sorry to finish your point.
The reason why I was kind of okay with it, like, for Real Madrid to react the way they did, even if it was over the top or whatever, was because it fueled them with motivation. Yeah. Kind of the same way where, Michael Jordan fabricated stuff in his head that weren't even true, just to give him a little,
exactly,
right? It's the same idea.
No, totally. I was going to say, did you see what his dad tweeted, or I don't know if he tweeted or posted on social media?
Something about cooking? Yeah, that was before the game, right?
No. Oh. After the game. His dad, and I'm talking about Lamine's dad, took to social media and put out a statement basically saying, we'll see you in Barcelona.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, I'm like,
so they should
Pops,
interpret that as disrespect too.
Well, I'm like, Pops, are you doing your son a favor here? Like that instead of taking this, as you mentioned, rightly so, as a lesson to be like, calma, right? Just slow your roll down a little bit here, son. Wait till you're back to your best, and then talk or not, maybe preferably not, in my opinion. But as a father, you're only like throwing fuel to the fire, saying, what are they doing to my son? We'll see you in Barcelona. We're gonna like now you're setting up the next meeting again. You know?
It's a never-ending cycle. It's a never-ending. I mean, I think the whole era we live in is crazy.
Yeah.
Like Instagram stories, going back and forth. Yeah, you know that like. I think it was Kamavinga who posted like his pictures,
everyone did, man.
and it's like usually stuff like of
Bellingham,
like Pedri on his ass, or like it's like, and when Barca they do the opposite, it's like Bellingham on his ass.
Yes.
And it's like it's gonna be this never-ending.
And Jude putting out the Elvis song, something with words.
I heard about that. I didn't see it, but yeah.
A little bit less talk, a little more conversation, a little less action, or something like that. I don't know what it was. All subliminal messages. But what I will say is that we were kind of also asking for this, right? We didn't like the friendly.
The ratings
Clásicos.
were great ratings.
We like this.
Yeah.
We like the tension. These games are already being compared to the Mourinho at Pep days, which I think we're still a far cry away from that.
Yeah.
But I do like the spiciness.
Well, there was, these like just these viral like TikTok clips or whatever. There were like I saw a couple neutral accounts being like Clásico's back, and so like I think from a neutral standpoint.
Yeah.
It was an unbelievable game.
Yeah.
And I said to you, like, I predict there's going to be a lot of goals because there's going to be an open game.
Mm-hmm.
Not that many goals, but definitely eventful. And I mentioned this to you before. When the game was finally over, even though there was 9 minutes in injury time, I think there was 6 in the first half.
Yeah.
It was a long game.
Yeah.
It did not feel long at all.
Right. Just flew by.
At halftime, I was like, what? Game just started. Yeah, I was like, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Grade A atmosphere at the Bernabeu was good. Honestly, you don't always get that at the Bernabeu.
Looked beautiful, the mosaic and everything.
Tifo was great.
Yeah.
Good job, guys. Good job, everyone.
How was the temperature?
It was good. Also, I think the roof was open.
Oh, yeah?
Well, I saw sunlight at the top, so
All right.
I didn't
Well, they fixed
fact
that.
check it.
Let me ask you this. What's up with the painted pitch?
I don't know about that.
Like
What do you mean, like the grass?
Yeah.
They spray painted
They
green?
Spray painted.
Got to cover up the holes, man. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like it's a bit odd. Like, so it's not natural grass. It's artificial grass.
I can't be artificial. That's like Canadian shit to put turf because
So-
we can't grow grass in Canada.
With the reason. I don't know.
Well,
Canada's got some pretty good grass.
If you go to
I
BC, we
heard.
have good grass.
But
That's where Carlo's from. Carlo's wife is from. That's why he's so chill.
Oh, but there's been this rumor that the pitch has been painted, and this is nothing new, but it just kind of caught my eye more than on other occasions yesterday. That whenever a player went down, it's like just green immediately.
Huh. I don't know. This is news to me.
Okay,
Yeah.
check it out. Check it out. Stay tuned in right here for the latest.
Are we going to end with that?
It's a week ending, huh? What should we end with? Some final thoughts here. How long will it be? Mira, almost an hour. Talk about time flying by. And are you sure you're not cold? I'm happy to give up.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good.
Final thoughts?
It was a fun weekend. I'm really glad that you came out. It was good.
Need to make sure we got it. This happen more often.
Yes.
Right here at Cañas y
Do you guys
Tapas.
have this in Barcelona, Cañas y Tapas?
I don't know. I don't think it's a franchise, but Cañas y Tapas.
I saw this at the airport,
Oh.
actually. Yeah.
Cañas,
So,
Churros y Tácticas on Cañas y Tapas. Maybe they can sponsor the show.
we should send them this episode.
Totally.
This is our
By
next
the way,
sponsor.
the alcachofas and the churros, top notch. So definitely come here for your tapas and
All right, now you're
churros.
just kissing their ass. It's a good look. It's a peaceful spot in a lovely neighborhood. We're outside, and it's. This was an incredible place to record, actually.
Yeah, right.
We didn't know, but will this be our spot?
This has got to be
Might
our spot.
Yeah. All right. So you and I will be back on Thursday.
We'll be back on Thursday, but let me get some final thoughts.
Oh,
Yeah, the effect, I guess, of this Clásico moving forward. Where does your team go from here? Then I'll share my thoughts on Barça.
I think generally I have really liked Xabi Alonso's Real Madrid. I don't think it was perfect. kind of chalked up the mistakes and the flaws in the game to the fact that what Xabi Alonso was trying to do at Real Madrid is not something the club really ever does. So it's going to take time to instill the kind of DNA. And the first half against Barca was really encouraging for me. And we saw, this is something I tried to say at some point in the podcast, but I forgot to say it. We saw versatility in Xabi's football from the first half to the second half. The first half was all about energy exertion on the press, making Barca uncomfortable. The second half was more about transition and playing defense. And we saw both styles of football. And that's the kind of variation you need to win the Champions League. And different trophies, you need to be adaptable. And I like it. I think I've been more optimistic than most Madridistas when it comes to Xabi Alonso's Real Madrid. And I think last night we saw it come to fruition in a real way. They're like, okay, this is what we've been building towards. So I like it, and I think that this is still such an early time for Xabi Alonso and Real Madrid, and it's a long-term marriage, and I think even the conversations we're going to be having about this team at the end of the season are going to be wildly different than the ones we're having now. So I like it. I'm not going to sit here and say this is a treble incoming and this is the start of a European dynasty. No, of course not, but I like it. It's encouraging, and I can see what it's building towards. So I'm happy with it. Xabi has been navigating this in a very, very real and significant and impressive way. And I think he's going to have challenges, as we saw with his relationship with Vinicius, but I think it's trending in the right direction.
Spot on, spot on. I think for culés right now, it's a lot more of a somber time. It's a point of inflection. I think we need to be very, very self-critical. The few culés listening might be disappointed that I'm not bringing up certain referee calls, which were certainly a debate between journalists and on social media. I'm not going to do that today. I don't think it's the place because of the football that I saw. Were we in more
You'll
of a...
bring it up like in 2 months when...
Well, I'll tell you...
It's like a marriage. You'll be like, oh yeah, you remember what you did that? You didn't take the dishes out that day. And it's going to come up like later.
That's my wife. I don't have that memory bank. Like, she is incredible when it comes to that stuff. She'll bring up... I think that's a classic wife thing, isn't it? Maybe more so if you have an Italian wife. But I'll tell you what, I would have been more picky about certain calls from the referee had I seen a better Barça. The fact that I didn't, that's what concerns me the most, and that is where our attention should be. That's where Flick's attention needs to be, because right now I see this season being less successful than last season, and that is obviously a negative point. I don't think we're going to win the league. I think Madrid, it is theirs for the losing at this point, and I don't see them dropping points. I see Barça not evolving and improving in their football right now. You go around the pitch, I've named the names already from top to bottom. Players, whether it's injuries or just poor form, that need to step up and improve hugely and do so quickly if we want to remain in contention and be a serious title contender or repeat champion, if you will, both nationally and in LaLiga. The only positive that I can take away is that a Madrid in their best and most glorious form, with all of their star players out there and the depth of their squad, were only able to put two past a Barça side in its lowest form for me. And that is something that I think we should be able to build upon and try to see it as, look, we've hit rock bottom now. Let's see if we can rebound and bounce and catapult our way back into that stratospheric form that we grew accustomed to and loved the team for last season. But it's like I said before, man, light years away right now. That's just not a realistic outlook. So let's take it game by game, but let's hope that we can see some improvement as the weeks progress and we approach the end of the first half of the season, and then see where we're at, right? I mean, in La Liga, you guys had you faced your heavy hitters. We still have to face Atletico
Easy W.
You've gotten those off of your chest already. One, of course, that was a humiliating loss, but here you are, 5 points adrift in the league. So it was all, not for the worst. And if anything, it probably brought the team together. In your case, I would say.
I don't know if it brought the team together, but because it was really demoralizing, that one, the derby.
Yeah.
And that was actually the game that concerned all of us. Okay, so we're still not as good as we thought we were, right?
Yeah, it was a lifeline for us. It was like, oh, okay, cool. We stand a chance still, yeah.
And when we got Liverpool coming, Liverpool are not at their best either. And I wonder if I 100% I'm going to tell you, if we win that game, the conversation is going to be like, yeah, but you faced Barca and Liverpool when they weren't at their best, and it's like, okay, well, what do you want from us? What you want? There's always going to be something people are going to be doubting it, but I want to close with this. It's just a message to Barca fans.
There we go.
I didn't know that Barca fans existed until last season. For years, it was we were winning everything, and then last season they just came out. And then last night I didn't hear from any of them. Guys, I miss you. Come back. You don't have to only come out when you win. Just come out and be like, hey man, good game. You guys, congratulations on the victory. Guys, it's so I want to hear from you after you lose as well. Come back, we miss you, man. Diego, look at this, Churros y Tácticas. Diego needs you too. It can't just be one-sided.
Hey, Churros needs all of you culés. So yeah, come out for sure. I will say I was one of those culés in hiding last night. I avoided social media at all costs.
I was gonna say, should I check on him?
Didn't want to take any part in the social media last night.
Yeah,
I saw some of your tweets aimed my way, and
no, it was not aimed at you. It was not.
No, yours. No, I'm talking about the followers. They're like, "Where's Diego at?" And,
okay. Yeah. I think at one point in the middle of the night, I checked WhatsApp, and it said last seen Diego Lodi, and it was at a reasonable time. So I was like, okay, he's alive. He's alive somewhere. Okay, guys, we'll be back on Thursday.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/Churros y Tácticas. Not only would you be able to possibly contribute to a future where we sit here together with actual churros in a CYT cafe in Spain, but also, more importantly, you get to be a part of this family, and you get a bunch of bonus content. It's very interactive with you guys, so please sign up over on patreon.com/Churros y Tácticas. That's it.
That's it. We'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for your support.
Peace out.